For crypto holders, this is especially important for cold storage for generational wealth outside your children's taxable estate. But you can't just dump unlimited amounts of assets into these trusts. You have a lifetime exemption. Think of it like a one-time coupon. If you allocate the exemption when you fund the trust, something very powerful happens. The value is locked at today's numbers. You could pass $10 million of crypto into a GST exempt trust today. If that grows to $500 million over the next 4 years, the IRS doesn't get estate tax on that growth ever. And that's why timing matters so much with appreciating assets. Now let's talk about the 3 ways that people accidentally trigger that 40% tax. Number 1, direct skip. Your assets transfer directly to your grandchildren. If you didn't properly allocate the GST exemption, that transfer, well, it's going to trigger a 40% tax immediately. And here's the painful part. The person making the gift pays it. You gave money away and write a massive check to the IRS at the same time. Number 2, taxable termination. This is one of the blind spots a lot of people have. When you set up a trust for your child, they receive income for decades. Then they pass away and the trust moves to your grandkids. If the GST exemption wasn't allocated when the trust was created, guess what? That moment also triggers a 40% tax on the entire trust. Not the original amount, the full amount. Even after the decades of growth, and that all could be wiped out just because you didn't do it right up front. Number 3, taxable distribution. This happens when the trust makes a direct payment to a skip person, like a grandchild. If the trust isn't GST exempt, recipient owes those taxes. Imagine sending your grandkid some money for college and accidentally handing him a tax bill alongside it. That's not legacy, it's negligence. So how do you do it correctly? Well, a lot of people will use a dynasty trust. Most states have an old rule that forces trust to end after a certain period, pushing assets back into taxable estates. But there are some states that have realized that this is a bad policy. States like South Dakota, Nevada, Delaware, and Wyoming have trusts that last for hundreds of years, sometimes indefinitely. And when you combine a dynasty trust with the proper GST exemption, you create something very powerful. Your crypto sits inside that trust. One generation uses the income, the next generation uses the income, and the principal keeps compounding. These trusts are also protected from estate taxes, creditors, divorces, and other bad decisions for generations. But this only works if the trust can adapt. That's why you need something called a trust protector.